Finally, the last topic of chapter is utilization of constraint resources. So economics का basic rule है we have constraint resources and unlimited wants, right? Limited resources and limited wants. Therefore, we need to prioritize our resources. We need to prioritize what is best for us. So whatever is best for us, we should focus most of our resources towards that one. Like you should prioritize what is best for you, study or entertainment, right? Whatever you think is most important, you should uh, give most of your time to that one. If you think that study is the most important, you should give that much time to the study, and whatever you think about entertainment, how important is that one, you should give that much time to that one. Similarly, in the organizations, companies should focus on their constraint resources and their activities. So whatever products or activities are giving them the maximum revenues, the companies try to focus their resources towards them because that's how they can efficiently utilize their limited resources. So firms often face the problem of deciding how to best utilize a constrained resources. Usually fixed costs are not affected. So you don't have to worry about the fixed cost. We cannot do much about them by this particular decision because they don't change. Whatever decision we take, they will not change. So management can focus on maximizing total contribution margin because it is based on the variable cost. So we can only decrease our variable cost to increase our contribution margin. Let's look at the example of Ensign Company. Ensign Company produces two products, product 1 and product 2. Selling price for product 1 is 60 and 50 for product 2. Variable expense 36 and 35. Contribution margin for product 1 is 24. Product 2 is 15. So it shows that product 1 is creating the higher contribution margin compared to the product 2. So contribution margin ratio for product 1 is 40% and 30% for product 2. But here we have another information that processing time required on machine A1 per unit is 1 minute. So in 1 minute you can make 1 unit of product 1, but in half minute you can make 1 unit of product 2. So in 1 minute you can basically make 2 units of product 2, right? So 1 unit of the product 2 creates a contribution margin of 15, while 2 units will create a contribution margin of 30. So in 1 minute, contribution margin of product 1 is 24, while the contribution margin of product 2 is 30. Let's look some other information. Machine A1 is a constraint resource and is being used 100% of its capacity. There is excess capacity on all other machines. So machine A1 is our most important machine, which is being used at its 100% capacity, and its 100% capacity is 2400 minutes per week. We cannot use it more than that. Should Ensign focus its efforts on product 1 or 2? Like we talked before, whichever product is creating more contribution margin, the company should focus on that. So here it shows that we can make only one product of product 1 in 1 minute. We can make $24 contribution margin in 1 minute if we produce product 1. But if we produce product 2, we can uh, create a contribution margin of $30 per minute. Therefore, company should focus on producing product 2 because it is creating more product margin using machine A1. What generates more profit for the company using 1 minute of a machine A1 to process product 1 or using 1 minute of machine A1 to process product 2? We know that it's product 2. The key is the contribution margin per unit of the constraint resources, right? So these are all the calculations we have just seen before. Product 2 should be emphasized, provides more valuable use of the constraint resources. Machine A1 yielding a contribution margin of $30 per minute as opposed to $24 for product 1. If there are no other constraints, the best plan would be to reduce to meet the current demand for product 2 and then use remaining capacity to make the product 1. So weekly demand for product 2 is 2500 units. So each product requires half minute. So the total minutes required to produce to create a weekly demand for product 2 is 1100. We know from the example that we have total of 2400 minutes. We can use remaining minutes for the product 1. So total were 2400 minutes. 1100 minutes have been used to produce the product 2. Remaining 1300 minutes will be used to produce the product 1. So 1 minute is required to produce 1 unit of product 1, therefore a total of 1300 units of product 1 will be produced. According to plan, we will produce 2200 units of product 2 and 1300 units of product 1. Our contribution margin will look like this one. Product 1, each unit create a contribution margin of 24, so total will be 31,200. For the product 2, we will make 2200 units and each unit make a contribution margin of 15, total will be 33,000. The total contribution margin from the company will be 64,200. So companies should produce only what can be sold, right? Add the bottleneck itself, improve the process, add overtime or another shift, hire new workers, subcontract production, eliminate waste. That's how companies can manage their constraints. That's the end of the chapter 13.